real talk. Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right? You're eating clean, you're exercising, maybe you're even using semaglutide, and yet the weight just won't budge? Well, don't worry. Hitting a weight loss plateau is super common. What if I told you there's a hidden reason why semaglutide might not be working as you expected? And better yet, there's a way to break through it. Stick around because this could be a game changer for your journey. Hi, I'm Dr. Carter with Modern Body Clinic, and we are weight loss experts. All right, imagine this. You're eating healthier than ever, you're pushing your workouts, even cutting back on treats, and yet the scale is stuck like a stubborn mule. Well, the hard truth is your body might be smarter than you think, and it's learned to adapt to all that hard work. Let's break down why weight loss plateaus always seem to sneak up just when you're making progress. Yes, your body is super smart, and over time is going to adjust to the lower calorie intake, is going to adjust to the workouts and exercise, it's going to adjust to the medication, and all this is going to make it harder to lose weight. Well, one of the things that's going on is your metabolism is slowing down, and that is a normal response. As our weight goes down, our metabolism is definitely going to slow down so that we're burning fewer calories at rest. Have you ever been stuck like this? Let me know in the comments how long you've been on a plateau. Semaglutide has been a total game changer for weight loss, right? It's a secret weapon everyone's talking about, but if you think it's a magic fix, think again. Even semaglutide has its limit. And if you're not seeing results that you expect, you're probably asking, why isn't this working for me anymore? Let's dive into the science and why your plateau may not be a fluke. Well, let's talk about semaglutide first. It is a GLP-1 receptor agonist, GLP-1 for short. And essentially what it's doing is acting on our brain to decrease your appetite. But one of the main other things it's doing is slowing down your GI tract. And so that will decrease your appetite. Also, it's going to make you feel full faster and for longer period of time. Put that all together, we're going to eat less. Also, it's going to help with your insulin response so our blood sugars don't stay as high for as long. What happens when you're on semaglutide and you hit a plateau? Well, your body is adjusted. It's called metabolic adaptation. And so as we have decreased our calorie intake, our body has decreased its metabolism to match. It's really trying to survive. And so it's doing what it does best. Now, the other part is sometimes there's muscle loss when we lose weight. Well, actually often there is muscle loss. Generally not significant, but if you lost a lot of weight, particularly quickly, it could be a big deal. Now, what can we do about this? With that muscle loss, that is going to lower our metabolism as well. And yes, this can even happen on semaglutide. If you're on semaglutide, so here's the deal. If you've hit a plateau, the solution isn't necessarily working harder, it's working smarter. And trust me, sometimes it has nothing to do with the diet you're on or semaglutide. It could be hidden barriers like stress, lack of sleep, or even something medical going on. How do we break this plateau wide open? Let's talk strategy, because this is where the magic happens. I'm going to give you 5 tips on how to look at this and how to think about it. Tip 1 is to reassess your calorie intake. So you can imagine if you started at 200 pounds and now you're down to 180, that we need less energy. One, your body is just going to adjust to that naturally, but also depending on how fast you lost it, there's going to be some adaptation that we discussed earlier. One of the first things you can do is just reassess what is my maintenance calories now and create a deficit from there, a new deficit to a new number to shoot for in calories. Now, one thing we do want to be careful is that you can actually go too low. For our clients who've hit a plateau and if they're in the 1,000 to 1,200 range, my recommendation is not to go lower necessarily. And so we have to advise a different strategy. But if you're above that, if our clients are above that, then yes, let's reassess the calorie intake and create a deficit accordingly, and that would be something like 300 to 500 calories. Tip number 2 is to focus on strength training. Before I mentioned that, yes, we're going to probably have some muscle loss. Now, we can reduce that or even reverse it with strength training. Doesn't take a ton, maybe 2-3 times a week that we do some strength training, and it doesn't mean you have to be in the gym 2 hours a day. It could be simply 20 to 40 minutes, honestly, especially if you are a beginner and you haven't really done any strength training before. This will have a big impact on your metabolism. All right, tip number 3 is definitely going to look at lifestyle issues. So 1 is making sure we get enough sleep, make sure that we're managing stress accordingly. We're going to have stress in life. The problem is, can we manage it accordingly and not be chronically stressed? And sometimes it's actually overtraining. Some people train too much. What all these things do is lead to an elevated cortisol level. And cortisol is a hormone that your body uses to deal with stress. And one of the side effects is you're going to want to hold on fat. Your body is going to make you hold on to fat and make it much harder to lose weight. Another thing with the lifestyle is making sure we get enough sleep. So I know we often treat sleep as optional, but it's really not. And if we don't get enough sleep, we affect two appetite hormones. One is actually affect several hormones, but leptin and ghrelin are two hormones that deal with appetite. And so the net effect of that is that you're going to be hungrier even despite medication. So we want to definitely make sure we get enough sleep. And most people should shoot for 7 to 9 hours. But if you want to know how much sleep you should be getting, check out the link below. We have a video on how to figure out how much sleep you need. Let me give you an extra tip here. Okay, so pro tip. If you checked all the boxes on these things, so you reassess your calorie needs, you're eating correctly, you're exercising, you're doing resistance training, you get enough sleep, and we're still on a plateau, then you might want to look at medical reasons why. So certainly talk to your provider, but essentially what they're going to want to do is do a complete panel. We want to make sure that there's no red flags going on or underlying medical issues that might be contributing to your problem. We want to make sure that there are no medical problems contributing to your plateau. They will check a general panel, which we call liver, kidney function, complete blood count, but also we should look at hormones. Certainly we want to look at thyroid because that is our master gland for our metabolism. And they also want to look at some other hormones, certainly assess for PCOS if you're a woman. That can certainly be a barrier to weight loss. Now, another thing we can do is intermittent fasting. So talk to your medical provider to see if it's right for you, because it's not right for everybody, but intermittent fasting can certainly open up things. If you've done everything else before and you check all the other boxes, then I would move on to intermittent fasting. In fact, we got a video on that too. Check it out. I got a link below on intermittent fasting if you're a beginner. Now, something else that you can do as well has to do with fasting is doing a 24 to 36 hour fast. That can also help with unblocking a plateau, again, assuming that you've checked all the other boxes. And another thing we want to look at is non-scale victories. The scale is just one part of the story, it's not the whole story. We want to also look at other stuff that is positive. If we're having more energy, that's a win. If we notice our waist circumference is getting smaller, that is a win. In fact, that is better correlated with healthy outcomes as opposed to our weight per se or even our BMI. Also, you want to pay attention to how your clothes are fitting. Those are things that also show that we are making progress. It is important to be patient and consistent. Remember, plateaus are temporary, but your commitment is long-term. And yes, semaglutide is a powerful tool, but it's not a magic wand. It's definitely going to take your persistence and adjustments over time to get the result you're really looking for. Whether you're on semaglutide or you're just grinding through your weight loss journey, your persistence will pay off. Don't let a short-term issue derail you from your long-term success.